Hello, everybody. Good morning. We have patch notes that we get to read over. And then the game will be live, hopefully. They got delayed another hour, so instead of it coming up in 13 minutes, we have to wait an hour and 13 minutes. Yeah, it's wipe day, man. Rex Manning Day. If you guys understand the Rex Manning reference, y'all are old as shit. Say hi to YouTube chat. All right, well, let's see. Fix an issue where channeling type skills occasionally fail to activate. I wonder if one of these is fixing the ground targeting issue where the spells would fizzle out. Sorks could use electric dash to cross unopened drawbridges. R key at a specific time when the sorcerer was merging spells could cancel the cast and leave the casting bar stuck on screen. Fix an issue where casting area of effect spells from stairs or lower floors toward an upper floor's ground could consume the spell without activation. This is like pointing an illusory, like what we saw in Arena where you took the illusory and you pointed it at the ceiling for like a flame strike, and it wouldn't consume the spell, but it would count as activating the spell, so the illusory would trigger. That isn't the fix that I was hoping for. Oh yeah, the residual sounds from the Nightmare Frost Skeleton Guardsman or Demon Dog, like the dog would keep growling if you left the room and came back. Oh yeah, fix an issue where switching to an inventory weapon while holding another weapon could momentarily display the newly equipped weapon's drawing motion. So this was an interesting bug where you could hot swap out an item like a lantern, and it would hide the weapon from being able to be seen until you slashed with it. Yeah, this right here. Fix an issue where attempting to equip a throwable weapon and then canceling can cause the previously held weapon to become invisible. So you wouldn't know like what they were running until they started swinging at you. I'm just trying to see if there's anything like worth reading. Fix an issue in the Ruins Stables or Druids could use rat form to escape. And Refactory, Ruins Great Hall A, where a locked iron door requiring a key was placed in the path to the Banshee boss room. So they're slowly buttoning up like the rat form get out of the map spots. I wonder if they finally fixed it in that one arena module that kept coming up where people were using rat form to get out of the map. Druids can use chicken form to escape the map at certain spots in Crypt Catacomb. All right, and then they have like a bunch of like module geometry fixes, it looks like. Fix an issue in Crypt's Road module where dropping a necklace item can make it appear as if it had disappeared. So they're fixing like meshes, looks like, on some of the geometry to match the polygons. Arrows could stick in midair or torches could float because yeah, they had like invisible colliders. Items spawning in midair. There's been a lot of this right here where like like you'd have potions that would spawn in midair that you could pick up in a bunch of these modules, and they've been slowly fixing them. Okay, the artifact illusory could activate its effect even if the spellcast failed, so there's that. So they fixed it on both ends. They fixed the illusory itself, and they fixed the aiming at the ceiling thing. Lantern visual effects could remain on the ground. Oil lantern could cause crashes. Alter the attributes of gears with completing gem socketing. Okay, all right. Fixed an issue where users without a rank could have their rank displayed as neophyte even if they never entered an HR dungeon. A lot of this is just like really basic like UI bullshit and like really like minor stuff that they found along the way. I mean, I'm glad that they're buttoning this stuff up, but it's just boring to read. A lot of these later ones are things that like you would see once ever. Like this one right here, echo of screams in arena, the sound could become muffled in the next round. Like you can't even bring an echo of screams into arena normally. It's literally only for like the 1 week event, but they identified it and they buttoned it up, like Cloak of Darkness for the Tailor could only roll 2 random stats instead of the intended amount. Zombies erase 5% debuff duration bonus could be applied in reverse. That's interesting. That's really interesting, actually. I didn't even realize that. The debuff duration bonus was, instead of it being a good thing, turned into a bad thing. Made debuffs longer instead of shorter. Actually, I think it was the other way around. It'd be shorter instead of longer. So it was like double beneficial instead of having a negative. Fixed an issue where using the Carol while falling could use the character's position to be stuck in midair. There was a really funny bug in the very first like iteration of Arena where you could use I can't remember which emote it was. It was one of those animated emotes where it would change your character's like model position, and it never retained like where the center point was, like where you were supposed to like end up if you canceled it. So if you initiated it to where like the character moved forward and then canceled it as the round was starting, you would like inch your way forward toward the door, and eventually you could actually get to the door so that when the timer finished and the round began, you were already on the door opening it to save yourself like 3 seconds. Fix an issue where character legs could appear distorted while using resting emotes. See, why would you get rid of that? That shit, that's just flavor. Why would you get rid of that? If somebody wants to have twisted up pretzel legs, you should let them. Okay, PvE mode. All right, so here's the meat and potatoes. This is the stuff that we actually want to look at. Adventure mode been added to the game. Risk reward balance, including loot drops, monster difficulties, other settings for all the game modes have been adjusted to give varying risk to reward profiles. The marketplace and trading posts will be closed for the first 2 weeks of the season. So everybody is, I guess, team found. Now I don't know. There's another note in here about like proximity. So we'll have to look at that a little bit. I'm gonna assume that if the marketplace and trading posts are closed, like it's gonna be like team found. So you want to drop your buddy an item at the start of a round. I'm sure that's gonna be fine. I don't think they're gonna like screw with that too much. What will be interesting is seeing like a lot of drop trading getting done inside of the game, like what happened before the text marketplace even existed, like in the early days, like playtest 2 and playtest 3. Twitch drops campaign number 2 is coming soon. Check our Discord announcement for details. So that begins tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so it's starting at midnight UTC. Midnight UTC tomorrow would be like, the 12th. It technically starts on the 12th if it's midnight UTC, which means it's going to begin at 8 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Standard Time. You have to adjust, for whatever time zone you're in. But it's midnight UTC is when it starts, okay? 6 new shop items are now available for sale. Visit the shop to check them out. So we know that there's like the gilded background. There's the gold skeleton, right? And then there's like torches and stuff. They had like that golden torch. I'm assuming that those 3 at least are going to be for sale. And then they had that other that other red torch with a little eyeball on the side of the handle. We'll check them all out actually. So this is the Gaze of the Abyss torch. That's the one with the eye that we saw teased from the trailer or from the podcast. This is the Tome of Shoal. This is the Staff of Gluttony. So that's a ceremonial staff. There's something referenced in the game files about a spear hit, but we don't know if like when there's going to be a spear in the game. Looks like they're teasing like possibly having a spear, like a unique spear effect. I mean, like a spear unique, like a wet status effect. See, like debuff move speed wet for like on a spear hit. See, like this is wet spear unique hit. And there's a thing that says hitting target inflicts ice magical damage and leaves the target wet for X amount of seconds. And then ghost dust pouch. So this is the thing that throws ghost dust. That's the thing that you toss and it makes like a little like dusty field that it reveals invisible enemies. The Hungering Flame Lantern we saw a thing for already. That's a Twitch drop. Poison Vial. So that's what the Poison Vial looks like. Cockatrice Egg. So I'm going to assume that the Cockatrice Egg is the thing that you're going to have in the maybe as a unique drop for the Cockatrice. Crystal Frost Ring. So there's the icon for the Crystal Frost Ring. And then there's icons for certain things. Dungeon, limited time item, non-tradable icon, tavern only. This is a new demigod rank icon for people that achieve demigod. The bounty inspection icon for the emote. The fire breathing emote icon. Destructive outburst is another emote apparently we get. And then this is the lobby skin for the gilded lobby. And there's the goose. That's the skin. That's the icon for the lobby skin, like in the market. Enchanted campfire, like demon campfire. There's the gilded skeleton icon. Skin. This is a resting idle toss. So it looks like when you're resting, you're like flipping a coin. And then there's the lobby emote for playing cards. That's a Twitch drop. I'm gonna assume this coin flip is a Twitch drop too, right? And then there's a lobby gem appraisal emote. Sounds like when you're sitting at the table, you're like appraising jalms, and then the royal torch. Yeah, there's a gold skelly that you can get from the market. I believe it's going to be from the market. Yeah, there's like a named spear that's being talked about that has like a wet debuff on hit. I'm going to assume that that's going to be something that comes out with the water map, like because there's like that ancient stingray. I think that guy's going to be the boss on the water map. And then there's this stuff for adventure mode. So these text strings talk about like in adventure mode you won't be able to damage allies, knock back allies. You can no clipping. You can pass through players. Party only loot. Block same team debuff, and then other monster loot penalties. So this is like you can't give somebody like power sacrifice and slowly kill them, right? So if you're doing like same team debuff, you won't be able to hurt them with power sacrifice. I wonder if it'll stick. I wonder if POS will stick, but it won't take their health off. Other monster loot penalty. So I'm gonna guess that like last hit, including bosses, means that you get like quick loot and everybody else has slow loot if it wasn't your kill. And then actor status, player allies. Okay, new interactive emote available as an EA5 demigod exclusive reward. So the demigod emote is in the game now. They're going to have it available right away. So it looks like based on this bullet, we're going to have all of our rewards available to us when we start the game up, which is kind of nice because at least then we'll have our gold bags and stuff. I don't know why they did this, but they're not giving us the gold bag. They're giving us like the smaller one, like the little middle size, like 250 gold ones, but they're giving us 4 of them. So it's the same amount of gold storage, but it's taking up double the space. I don't know what the difference is, but that's what they're doing. A new artifact grade has been added for in-game items. So we have a new grade coloring for artifacts. 2 new throwable items added: poison vial and ghost dust pouch. So the poison vial makes a poison cloud. The ghost dust pouch works like light orbs for wizards. This thing you toss into a corner and it will reveal stuff that's invisible, which is kind of cool. I don't know what the radius of it is, but that's what they read in the game files when they added them last wipe, but they weren't like usable in game. The descriptions were already in. So this is actually kind of cool. That's like a really good. I love stuff like this, like the little counterplay pieces. I love that shit. Give me more of those, because then it gives people utility items and it starts like separating out like the brain plays. I love that stuff. I will buy them all, kill me some rogues. Yeah, like, I'm wondering if there's going to be, like, new plants or something in the game that you'll be able to make the ghost dust from, you know? 3 new craftable items added: Staff of Gluttony, Crystal Frost Ring, and Tome of Sheol. So the Staff of Gluttony is a ceremonial staff. That was something that I missed in the teaser. The teaser video had a staff of, the Staff of Gluttony, which I guess that's what it's called, is a ceremonial staff that was shown in the crafting window. The Crystal Frost Ring is going to be interesting, so I'm going to assume that this is going to be made with frostlight ore or froststone ore, which we probably won't see for several weeks on the Alchemist, but it'll probably be in the game file, so we'll be able to see what the stats are. And then the Tome of Sheol, you know, same thing. None of these we will see right away, I don't think. 4 new Inferno monsters added: Demon Imp, Ghoul, Demon Fly, and Hell Maggot. So I'm not sure if the Hell Maggot is like the jumping worm or not that we saw like in the teaser video. So, but this will be cool to see. One of these two is that little crawly boy. The look kind of like the size of like one of the Mohawk dogs from Ice Abyss. He kind of had like that similar like walking gait to him. I'm going to assume that it's a ghoul, would be my guess. So I don't know if we saw the Demon Imp or the flies in the video, but we'll keep our eyes out, obviously. So we're going to Inferno basically, because there's a whole bunch of new shit. 3 new Inferno sub-bosses: the Cerberus, which we saw as that 3-headed doggo. The Dreadspine is that spiky boy that had like the 2 low like swiping attacks, like it went from they went low to high across, like crossbody, they went low to high, and then they had like that one like overhead like slam attack like in the front of him, like at his like right in front of his feet. So this is this replaced like in the throne room where the skull key spawns on the chair. We know that the Dreadspine replaces a skeletal mage on that module at least. So again, like one of those things that we're gonna go and check out. And then the Abomination we already saw, and then in the teaser video it showed that the Abomination was like throwing up blood on people and like causing a blindness effect, like a partially blind effect, which I thought was pretty sweet actually. New monster patterns added for Nightmare: Ice Spider, Harpy, Cockatrice, Frost Giant, Shielder, Yeti, Giant Worm, and Wendigo. All the Nightmare variants. And we know that the Nightmare Cockatrice has at least the Nightmare one. I don't know about the other ones, but at least the Nightmare one has a Flame Breath attack now, which I thought was kind of sweet. And a new High Roller boss summoning system with crafted items for Lich, Warlord, Ghost King, and Frost Wyvern. More bosses to be added in future updates. So this is actually an interesting change for them, because now with the summoning system, they can keep the same boss room, and you can pull in like bosses that you want to pull in. I don't know though, and this will be an interesting test to see if like you could summon Ghost King into like the Crypt's boss room, or if you have to be in Inferno, or if like Inferno will give you like the Uber variant of a boss, and like Crypt's only gives you like the basic bitch one. Well, we'll have to see like which one it does. Or maybe they remove the boss room from Crypt's altogether and you have to go down to Inferno and like pick your boss now. I don't know how they change this. Okay, so data mined info, right? These are the requirements for summoning. Frostbitten Mallet is a Frozen Heart and glowing blue ice eyes. That one's not awful. The Frozen Heart's kind of a pain in the ass, because that's a Wendy drop from the Frozen Heart. Cursed Bell for the Ghost King is 2 armor scrap and a demon blood. Breath of the Deceased for Lich is 6 intact skulls, 6 bones, and a volcanic ash. Volcanic ash being the thing that's going to be a pain in the ass. Broken Warhorn for Warlord is a token of honor, 6 rusty broken swords, and 6 bones. The token of honor for this is the part that kind of sucks balls. So this is the Breath of the Deceased is the item that summons Lich. It looks like this. This bell is the thing that summons what, GK, Cursed Bell. This is the Frostbitten Mallet. So that's the thing that spawns the Wyvern. Adjusted the health and damage of each boss monster. So that's cool too. I wonder if that's like up or down. I'm gonna assume that they made them like more heavy-handed. Because, you know, let's be honest, like when you're one-phasing Warlord, it's kind of silly, you know? The Illusory artifact now leaves the after images periodically when casting spells. So now we have the same after images as Wizard Invis. Improve certain monster movements using a new system. Improve the hit effects on monsters based on their materials. So this is cool too. I wonder if this means like if you're swinging a longsword at like a golem, if it just like you'll do the damage but it bounces off and fucks up your animation, like you're hitting a wall. I would love that. It would be annoying to fight, but it's from an immersive standpoint. I like that they're trying to make things make a little bit more sense. Or if you're swinging on them with a Warmaul, maybe then it just kind of like breaks through. That's kind of cool. Environmental props have been optimized. New ruins modules added, which we saw one of them in the teaser video, right? There was like that one that had like that tree like circle with a tree in the middle of it or whatever. Like it was like this little like garden grotto kind of thing with a wraith in the center of it. Adjusted ruins dual boss room door proportions. The textures in ice cavern maps. Return to the expressman. We saw that. High value chest at the center of the arena bat roost module. Okay, so bat roost was kind of just annoying. It didn't really have anything like really valuable. So this being in the middle of it will be good. Sound effect added to the hold the line emote. Items now have a tradable and permitted area properties that restrict how certain items can be used. So this is interesting. It sounds like PvE mode is going to have a tradable or non-tradable tag to it, maybe. Or during the course of like the no market thing, maybe they won't have a tradable tag, so you won't be able to trade them. Maybe they're going the way of Tarkov, where like if you try to drop an item, it'll give you a warning and tell you that it's going to be deleted if you try and drop it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Like this is interesting. Maybe they're really sticking to like you have to find stuff for the first 2 weeks. Watch and make keys permitted area. Yeah, I wonder. Account-wide merchant shop and crafting services are now shared across your account. So this is another interesting change because the crafting services, one of the things that I had said like prior when they did this whole like account-wide affinity thing where like all of your characters suddenly had the same affinity for stuff like Alchemist, you could just hot swap to the next character and make a shit ton of rings, for instance. Like you could make Grim Smiles every half hour. If you had 9 characters, you were making 9 Grim Smile rings, as long as they had the materials to make, right? At least in this case, they're making it so like your account, and this had been my argument for a long time, if you want to make sure that the economy stays relatively valuable for certain things, make it so that the account makes the item, right? So now they're making it so account wide, you get 1 Grim Smile craft every half hour, you know, like on all the other associated crafts. However, they did mention that like certain crafts are going to have more than 1 every cooldown. Marketplace access is now shared across your account. So as soon as one of your characters is level 20 and has the ability to use the market, all of your characters have the ability to use the market so that you can have, you don't have to like move items between characters that can use the market from ones that can't and all that other jive. I like this change too. This is a good change. New Cockatrice NPC added to the merchant list. Complete quest to grow your Cockatrice. So in the teaser we saw this. It reminds me of like the Pickle Pea Pumperum like crows from DS3, and then DS2 obviously had the crows too. That's what the little icon looks like. It's like this little like bird's nest. And then it looks like as your affinity improves with them, they bring you like higher quality gems and possibly jewelry. But in the teaser video, they showed like, you know, emeralds and diamonds and sapphires and stuff. So it looks like over time they bring you like gems, which I thought was kind of cool actually. My guess would be is like as you increase affinity, it's going to have like a percentage chance to show up with like an epic or a legendary or maybe even like a unique one. It's probably going to have like some, you know, increased percentage chance to get more rare shit instead of just like, oh, now they just show up with blues every time. You know, there's going to be some RNG to it, I would assume. Increase the purchase limits for poor grade hunting traps, franny axes, and throwing knives from 1 to 10 per purchase period. So that's good. That's good. There's going to be tons of guys running around with like a bajillion frannies just to slow people down though. The crafting limit for most crafted items for each crafting period is increased from 1 to 3. There you go. So crafted weapons and armor and stuff, instead of being able to make 1, now you can make 3. They probably figured this was a compromise. So now you can make a third of as many of these things as you could otherwise with the last season. UI polish to the Squire, gear sets button. So they made the gear sets button look nicer, probably more prominent. Brightness options have been separated in the option for more precise control of the brightness of the menus. So now we can finally adjust menus menu brightness. A lot of people, like with the ultra saturated colors and like that all being super contrasty, were like getting headaches and shit from it. Russian font replaced, fonts updated to support certain languages, general sound improvements. Sound improvements is interesting. I wonder what they did with the audio. Items obtained with reward tokens are treated as self-found items. So these will be minted now. Reward token items are minted. That's crazy. Reward tokens will no longer give uncommon grade items, so blue and better. They now have a chance to drop a unique grade item, a gold coin chest, and a gold coin bag. So a version of these patch notes actually showed the percentages. I have it. Here we go. So this is what it used to say. Reward tokens have a 0.1% chance to drop a unique grade item, a 0.1% chance to drop a gold coin chest, and a 4.9% chance to drop a gold coin bag. That's what it used to say. But they modified it to just say that they have a chance to spawn. See, now they washed it a little bit. Yeah. Why would they remove that? Because they like a little bit of mystery. That's all. That's all. Sometimes they don't really want... Well, see, and then the other thing is, let's say it's approximately a 5% chance to get a gold coin bag, right? You will definitely have guys, because we're nerds, and there's nothing wrong with being a nerd, but you will have guys that will try to track the stats on it and see if that's real or not, right? And if it's off, like they're gonna try and fact check the devs because they gave us a number. They're gonna try and like, oh, well, it's not actually 5%. Like I have me and like 3 of my friends have been tracking this across like 5 characters or whatever. We've gotten, 400 tokens and we haven't seen a gold coin bag, 15 times or whatever, or 20 times out of 400. So something's wrong. Can you double check this? Right? It's just that, and they can modify these percentages on the fly, right? Like they can go into the game files and go like on the server side, they can go into the server side and say, all right, well, we're going to make it a 1% chance to get a unique grade item, but they're not going to tell anybody. Or they go the other way. Well, it's not going to be a 5% chance to get a gold coin back. Now it's a 2% chance, but they don't tell anybody. You know what I'm saying? So they can just adjust stuff and then they don't have to like keep everybody informed. It's just a way for them to like keep some mysteriousness to the game. It's just some devs are like that. I don't know. Other people are like, yeah, have all of the information, and then it is what it is. I think it's still the same as stated, unless they say, slightly modified or something. But I mean, originally, I think it said it was 5% for a unique grade item. And then they realized that wasn't right. One fake post of balancing on the Reddit that was scary until I saw Wiz Spell Memory 1, Spell Memory 2 removed. How many times do you think they're going to delay this time? Hopefully only the once. Okay. Updated the Goblin Merchant, so he now offers more items. So more Gamba, chat. More Gamba. Squire basic sets updated with Sorcerer and Druid equipment. Oh, so now we have basic Squire and like Sork and Druid stuff instead of just, having to run Knowledge Gear. Although the Sork will probably still just run straight up Knowledge Gear because reasons. Also, they made a modification to Sork that kind of hurts me a little bit, but it's all right. Decrease the AP gain for going down a floor from 100 to 10 AP. So they're already starting to stat squish the AP grind. And the AP grind hasn't even started yet. So they made this 10 AP to take a portal, and then they increased the penalty for dying from 0 to -10. So if you consider, right, people would just portal rush to get the bonus AP because they got 100, and that was a way for them to make sure that they made progress. Now, if you do, right, and we know that there's no additional penalty. So assuming that you kill like one mob, technically speaking, you will have some amount of gain in the AP grind. You're just not going to get like the bolus of points that you were getting for going down a portal or 2, right? But they're also saying that the penalty from dying is -10. So if you start off in Ruins and go down through Inferno, you're already +10 on it no matter what, because you took 2 portals instead of 1. I wonder if they're going to adjust this so that like Crypts is the Crypts loop is -20 to offset it. Well, we'll see. Crafting recipes for Potion of Healing, Potion of Protection, Magical Protection Potion, and Potion of Clarity have been updated. So this is interesting too. Potion of Clarity is the big one here, the Clarity pot. That's the one that it was always controversial, but it seemed like it was relatively rare crafted at this point. You don't really see people running around with them, and they didn't, and maybe still don't drop in dungeons. So we'll see how much those get leaned into. The armor rating curve has been modified to give slightly less PDR in the early part of the curve. So PDR, whatever. Cooldown time reduction bonuses are limited to a maximum cap of 65%. This is also pretty interesting. I don't know what the big deal was with cooldown reduction, because I guess if it's Sork and you're stacking cooldown reduction like with the perks and all, I guess you could get up to that. But most people, like even if you're running like 40 resourcefulness, you were only getting like 35% CDR. But for the elemental. Yeah. For the Sork's elemental perk that you were getting like instant cooldowns, it was going to like 100%, like when you were at 30% HP or whatever, if you had like enough resourcefulness to pull it off. Yeah. So that way they were chain casting like Frost Lightning and Elemental Bolts and shit. Yeah. that makes sense. So now you're capped off at a 60. So this is, I mean, I don't know why they put this in general balance, but this is basically a Sorc nerf. So is these class balance updates. They should have just said sorcerer changes, because there are no other balance changes other than Sorc nerfs. Casting a spell with time distortion equipped now applies a minus 30% action speed debuff. So your hands to cast and the action speed for like spell books and all that stuff, even though they're instant cast, your hands are coming out 30% slower. So it's still a significant reduction in cast speed, because the spell doesn't actually like go off until like the item that you're holding, like if it's a spell book, until your hand is all the way out, or if it's a staff until the staff is pointed at somebody, or the sword or crystal sword or whatever. So this is interesting, because the fastest action that we have is when you're holding a spell book. It's even faster than bare hands. So yeah, that's going to be kind of shitty, because you're going to have like action speed on your gear to make it feel like any good at all. TD's going to, like, they're really fucking with the TD thing because of how you can chain cast the wombo combos. This also means that like let's say you do like the frost lightning thing to root somebody in place and you catch them with it. This also means that like you're not just casting it at like a lead point where you would normally. It's going to modify the timing to where you're going to have to like lead them even more. Plus you then have to wind up like the follow-up spell, whatever that follow-up spell is, and it's going to take, you know, half a second for the spell to like get out. So in most cases, I think like if you're a Sorc and Whis, you're probably going to have them get out of the root before whatever that follow-up spell you're casting actually leaves your hands, because of how much slower that action speed debuff is. That's gonna be kind of silly. TD might be screwed with that action speed reduction or debuff, I guess. Stone Skin buff is huge because they gave it back to us. Sorcerer's Stone Skin duration changed from 10 to 15, and its physical damage reduction bonus changed from 10 to 15%. So this used to be 15%, and then they took 5% of it away. But I had an arena kit, the first weekend of arena, I had an arena kit that was like 48% PDR before Stone Skin, and then you applied the Stone Skin and you were almost at PDR cap. And then you used Electric Dash to like dive on people, and then Melee Sorc was kind of back in it for a little bit. So a 15-second base duration to have like Melee Sorc is kind of cool, because you could do like Glaciate and go in and like actually stand toe-to-toe with people with damn near PDR cap is kind of sweet. Okay, item balance updates. Random modifier has been significantly modified. So, okay, so this makes me wonder if what we saw in the trailer was real, because there was a movement speed bonus on a chess piece in the preview. They had movement speed bonus on a chest item. So I'm wondering if they're giving random modifiers back. And it had +3 dex on it as a random modifier too. So this is like +3 stats as a random mod instead of +2 max, which actually the +3 thing, if you think about how the stat gems got modified, where you could get 1 to 2 on diamonds instead of just 1 point in a stat, the +3 thing from a min-max perspective makes sense, because it's a point into like the stats that you can't get through manufacturing them, right? Like by regemming it, because all the gem stuff that you could do was always like slightly worse than what a perfect roll would be, with the exception of like the +1 damage rolls. Imagine if they give weapons with the +1 all modifier like how it was in the playtest. Oh god, I hope not. We don't need any more +all. I hope they don't do that. Rolling like movement speed on items again though, other than boots, is kind of wild, especially considering that the idea was to get away from the movement speed meta. If they're giving like percentage movement increases on random rolls for wearables other than boots, everybody's just going to go for like move speed cuckery again. Web damage on gear. Oh god, remember how like all pieces of gear had like 1 true on them? You could roll true damage. Oh lord. Everybody's going to be like +15 true again. +1 all got modified. +1 all is no longer on rings. +1 all is now chest, legs, and necklace. Attributes are now rolling 1 to 3 instead of 1 to 2. Uniques are rolling fucking insane stats. Uniques are okay, so like a unique chest, standard chest is rolling like 1 to 4 max health add. A unique is rolling 4 to 16 HP. Projectile reduction, instead of being the old value was 0.2 or 2 to 3%, is now rolling 8. Is that right? 8 to 12? It's got to be a 1.2. That can't be 8. It is. I think it rolled from 0.2 to 0.3 on base to 0.8 to 1.2%. 12% would be fucking insane. It's coming in real fast. So like, there's this. It looks like all of the like unique dropped items are all getting like hyper juiced. Like the stat rolls on them are fucking wild. So there's unique grade chest, cloak, feet, hands, head, legs, neck, shields, one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, rings, magic only, and the Pavis, the two-handed shield. So there's like unique grade items that are dropping for everything. But what I'm like the basic synopsis is that like the unique grade shit is rolling like crazy fucking stats. Well, we don't know if it's been like enabled, but the stat ranges on this stuff are fucking crazy. And it looks like unique gear has a huge jump. So 225 dungeons are going to be the Wild West, man. Why the test server exists? Well, they think it's a waste of time because no one uses it. It's not because it doesn't have a purpose. It's because they're not getting any good data off of it. No one goes and plays it. It's not like World of Warcraft where you have like, you know, millions of players and then you get like 50,000 a day or something that are going to log into the PTR. Like they just don't get that kind of feedback, you know, like there's no numbers. Stat ranges are unique only. I mean, like that's what it looks like, but like, I mean, based on these stats, like you might see like a 400 health barb if they're all decked out in uniques. Like card swipers might be a problem. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. 1 second. Oh my chat. When I tell you this, y'all are gonna lose your fucking minds. Okay, so let's set the stage real quick. All right, rings cannot roll +1 all. All right, rings can't roll +1 all this patch. It is necklaces, legs, and chests. Legendary quality will roll +1 on all of those. Okay, legendary will do +1 all to neck, +1 all chest, +1 all legs, +3. Right, just like it was last patch. Uniques.
Homie, mother.
Uniques have the ability to roll between +2 and +4 all for chest, legs, and necklaces for a total of +12. But that is not all. We also have plus true damage for things like rings, right? Rings will roll +1 true up through legendary quality. +1 true for each ring, right? For +2 there, and then you obviously can get the necklace, like the Phoenix Choker, right? Or the Frost Amulet. Uniques for those rings will roll +2 to +4. Pack it in. Pack it the fuck in. You also on unique rings. Also on unique rings, you have the ability to roll up to +8 for a normal attribute. So you can get +8 agility or +8 dex. Pack it in, boys. We're cooked. Two-handed unique weapons can roll up to +8 additional weapon damage. Oh my god. Look. I'll show you. Look. Physical weapon damage for a weapon. Min value 4. Unique two-handed weapons. Minimum additional weapon damage on the roll is +4 up to +8. Oh my god. And at the same time, the lower end of the curve for PDR just got nerfed. It is so Jover, dude. 4 to 8%? No. Percentages are written on a 1,000 scale. The number would be 400 to 800. It wouldn't be 4 to 8. Any percentages in the game are written in a 1,000 scale. What is the new base weapon damage on items? I think it's going to depend on like what they tweaked, but let's just, but you know, hypothetically speaking, let's just say that there happens to be a Panther Druid with a whole bunch of uniques on, and they happen to have +8 agility rolls on their rings and +4 true damage. Fuck yeah. You mean 40 to 80? No. So like 10% would be 1,000, right? So if it was 4 to 8%, it would be 400 to 800, right? Yeah. 40% would be 4,000, not 400. So I guess it's 10,000 scale would be 100%. Yeah. Uniques can also roll +16 additional health, like for the chest. Chest can roll +16 health. It looks like everything has a chance to roll like 4x max value when you go from legendary to unique. Tell us the first guys in top tier bracket will dominate for the rest of the life. Well, it's worse than that. It's even worse than that. What it means is that a mediocre player that wants the card swipe will end up being able to lean into the stats. It's worse than that. 80 strength druids. This is fucking insane. Weapon damage for most weapons has been updated. The weapon animation for the club has been improved. The draw speed of the crystal sword has been slightly improved, so you can get the crystal sword out a little quicker. Gear score of items has been readjusted. Helmets, gloves, and boots had their gear score slightly increased. So helmets, gloves, and boots are more GS expensive. Weapons and crafted items had their gear score normalized. So this is interesting too. It sounds like they're going to have a flat point value for like one-handed and two-handed weapons, which I don't know if that's really balanced though. I guess it kind of is when you consider a serve bow as two-handed, but it only takes up like a 1x3, and you could take like 2 blue serve bows and you'd be over 224, you know? Or no, sorry, you'd be over, yeah. Would you be over 224 with 2 rares? Maybe 2 purples. 2 rares definitely got you over 124. I think one rare bow was like, what, 80 points or something? But even still though, this saying that it had the gear score normalized makes me think that the one-handed and two-handed weapons are all the same value. I should probably start the patch, right? Patch is out. Oh, it is patching. Never mind. It started on its own. Okay. Co-op dungeon crawling experience. Weighted adventuring, finding your own loot from dungeon. We've closed the trade market for the first 2 weeks. New monsters, dungeon modules, a full season of quest. Join us as we work on making the dungeons more lived in and interactive. We look forward to seeing fun-filled, exciting season built towards the ultimate online fantasy simulator. Thank you, and see you in the dungeons. All right. And then they delayed it an hour, so we got about 30 minutes left. But that's all the patch notes, it looks like. I will say, all right, so impressions based on the notes themselves. There's some cool stuff that they did with the new usable items. I like the new crafted stuff. Obviously, I like that there's going to be new monsters and new move sets and stuff to learn. I like that there's new attack patterns for all of the nightmare mobs, like between mini bosses and like the harpies and stuff. I'm done with that. I think that's good. I wish that this thing had like just a little bit more meat though. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm sure the devs do too. Like, I'm not saying anything that they don't wish themselves, I'm sure. But I wish it had like a little bit more meat. I'm sure it's still gonna be fun. There's gonna be some hype shit that we're gonna find and see and stuff. But I wish that there was like, you know, like it goes without saying, a new map or like a new class or like new perks, new spells, like, you know, the kind of stuff that like people are gonna theory craft on and try and optimize and you know what I mean, like get into it. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of that going on right now. And for all the patch notes that are in here, I'm sure that there's unmentioned things that we will find along the way. It's just like, you know, that's the only thing I would say is I wish there was like a little bit more meat to it. Yeah, like Wizard needs like 5 more spells minimum, you know? They should have some dude like at a desk just thinking up wizard ideas. Because right now, like the sorcerer has like double the spell count the wizard does with all the combos and everything. And honestly, like Sork is getting played kind of like how wizard should, minus all of like the hero shooter movement shit. That's just my thought on it, you know? If we're talking like canonically and how they were described by the devs originally and all that stuff. They haven't mentioned anything about Monk yet. No. Things that are still on the table that they've talked about that we haven't seen or heard anything about is Monk, the new druid forms that they were talking about like 3 interviews ago. And then the water map wasn't mentioned very much in the last podcast either. So those are still kind of like out there. Plus, and quivers and backpack. So we still got those things too. At this point, like I think quivers and backpacks are just becoming a meme. You know, like they're just like, oh, of course we're getting quivers. Sure, trust me, we're definitely gonna get them. Trust me.